Pueblo, Colorado. It's the home of heroes for the number of living Medal of Honor recipients there. And it has been home today to Donald Trump, hours after he suggested that America's veterans fighting post-traumatic stress aren't strong and can't handle it. That's not clear if his comments this morning were just clumsy or if he really intended to perpetuate one of the leading stereotypes about vets' mental health, that it's the weak who have problems. Either way, Trump did not repeat his claims about vets and PTSD so far in Colorado. From a rally in Pueblo, Trump headed up to a second event in Loveland at the Budweiser Event Center. You're looking live at Loveland, where he is currently being introduced by one of the generals, one of the retired generals, Michael Flynn, who supports him. He's getting the crowd pumped up. We see this typically at the Trump events. He should take the stage here shortly, and we will take you up there to listen in whenever we are available. This is Trump's second visit to our state in a month. Word of thanks now for the law enforcement across Colorado, making sure that all stay safe at these campaign events when the eyes of America are upon our state. Pueblo police tweeted out this picture today. Room full of officers getting briefed ahead of Trump's visit, with the note, a lot of preparation, a lot of manpower needed for presidential candidate visits. Our goal, a successful and peaceful event. The people of Pueblo woke up to a stinging editorial in Sunday's paper aimed at Democratic U.S. Senator Michael Bennet because he pulled out of a forum down there with his Republican challenger, Darrell Glenn. The Chieftain's editorial page called Bennett's decision not to debate there, quote, ridiculous and an insult to Southern Colorado. There's only one televised debate in the Senate race. It's here on 9 News next Tuesday, and we're certainly glad the candidates are debating here. But I'd honestly prefer to see them debate on our competitors' air as well. That'd be better for voters.
My opponent turned down the Denver Post debate. That's the signature newspaper in the state of Colorado, and our reaction to that was to say he doesn't get to pick and choose which debates he's in, and his unwillingness to do that has led us to the place we are. So I look forward to the debate next week. I'm glad we're doing it because your channel does get so many viewers.
It sounds like you're dinging Darrell Glenn for turning down the Channel 7 Post debate, but then you turned down the CBS 4 debate. I don't get that.
I can't answer it any other way.
Our extended conversation with Senator Bennett's coming up, including why he stands by the Iran nuclear deal, even though he thinks that Iran will cheat. A new poll out today is excellent news for Senator Bennett, as well as Hillary Clinton in Colorado. It shows Clinton 11 points ahead of Trump in Colorado. Right now, 49% of the voters likely to participate in the election next month told Monmouth that they support Clinton. 38% for Trump, 7% are polling for Libertarian Gary Johnson, 3% for Green Party candidate Jill Stein, another 3% undecided. Senator Bennett has widened his already significant lead over Darrell Glenn. Bennett now 18 points ahead with 53% in that Monmouth poll. Glenn at 35%. Libertarian candidate Lily Tang Williams has 4%. Green Party candidate Aaron Menconi polled at 3% with 5% undecided. If you're looking to get baked and participate in democracy, the Clinton campaign is bringing Dave Matthews to Denver to play a concert next Monday featuring harmonica player and vice presidential nominee Tim Kaine. It's an early afternoon show at the National Western Complex. Hope that Kaine will bust out the old mouth organ for a version of Dave's What Would You Say? I don't understand it best and cannot speak for all the rest, but if opportunities arise, you better not pass them by. We had hoped to have Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson on next tonight. His team accepted our invitation for him to appear. That was after some requests by Next viewers online. And Johnson's at a rally in Parker tonight at 7 o'clock, but his campaign didn't respond to our request for an interview today. Politics guy Brandon Ritteman is headed for the event tonight, hoping to at least toss a few questions Johnson's way. We tried to get him on the program because we've heard your calls to cover third-party candidates. Some folks will tell us, give all the candidates equal time. Except that's not really what you mean. When you say give all the candidates equal time, what you really mean is give equal time to the major party candidates, plus the third party candidate that I like, plus maybe one more if I'm feeling charitable. But certainly not all the candidates. Not all 22 presidential candidates on the Colorado ballot. As the argument goes, if they only got equal time, they'd get more equal support. Really? Is that what's standing in the way of socialism and liberation candidate Gloria Estela La Riva? Oh, mentioned her. Gotta mention them all now. Equal time. There's Republican Donald Trump, Democrat Hillary Clinton, Libertarian Gary Johnson, Green Party candidate Jill Stein. We're just starting to get equal up in here. American Constitution candidate Darrell Castle, unaffiliated Evan McMullen, Ryan Allen Scott, Mike Smith, candidate Frank Atwood. No way, that's awesome. Oh, that's Frank Underwood. American Delta candidate Rocky De La Fuente, Prohibition candidate James Hedges. See you at the Beer Fest. American Party candidate Tom Hoefling. Veterans of America candidate Chris Nyssen. Allison Kennedy with the Socialist Workers. Emilio Stolcik from Socialist USA. This equal time thing is tiring. Snack break with nutrition candidate Rod Silva. Independent American Kyle Kenley-Koptic. Don't run on your initials, Kyle. Kotlikoff for president candidate Lawrence Kotlikoff. American Solidarity's Michael Morton. Independent People candidate Joseph Allen Maldonado. I give up. Kind of appropriate, though, because there's one more left. Nonviolent Resistance Pacifist candidate Bradford Lytle. This has been equal coverage of Campaign 2016. Hey, that reminds me, may I make a recommendation? Want to point you toward a related article that's a really interesting read. The Durango Herald's Peter Marcus, excellent reporter and a fellow Ithaca College bomber, wrote about just how easy it is to get your name on the presidential ballot in Colorado. The headline, "A grand and 9 friends can get you on the Colorado ballot." Marcus writes that Colorado is one of 2 states that allows independent candidates to buy their way onto the ballot. The article says that's frustrating clerks in the smaller counties who have to pay for lengthy ballots and make sure that voters understand all those choices. Always looking for a good recommendation. Use the hashtag HeyNext or email next@9news.com. Donald Trump is at the podium in Loveland at the Budweiser Events Center speaking. Let's listen in live.
But they're very important, right? So thank you. Get your friends, get your family, get your co-workers, visit our website, and enlist every last person. We can't let this go. We can't have 4 more years of Barack Obama. We can't. And crooked Hillary will be worse. She'll be worse. So get those ballots in. And as long as we're talking about winning, I want to congratulate the Denver Broncos on their undefeated start to the season.
The innards of a political rally. That is the kind of stuff that gets tossed out at the beginning of the rally, doesn't make the sound bites at the end of the evening because it's just the standard red meat stuff. Crooked Hillary this, get your ballots in that, go Denver Broncos. If Mr. Trump says something of note or significance, we'll certainly let you know about it. Hurricane Matthew is not a Colorado story, except for the families who know someone in the path of that monster storm in the Caribbean. We heard from a Next viewer in that very situation. First, though, our Ryan Hare with the story of some Fort Carson soldiers working currently at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Given the effects Hurricane Matthew's already had on the islands south of Cuba, Nicole Rodriguez of Pueblo is wishing her husband's deployment had ended a month early.
Yes, most definitely.
Although he seems to be okay with it.
He's kind of a crazy guy. He said he always wanted to be in a hurricane, but then when this one was hitting, he was like, oh, I didn't want to be in a Category 4.
He snapped some photos of the area for us today. He's a military policeman with an Army correctional unit, and he'll likely get the chance to witness the hurricane's strength tomorrow. 9 News meteorologist Becky Ditchfield tracking the latest models.
That's the most likely track for Hurricane Matthew to take.
The storm could take a slightly different path, west or east. Either way, it won't be great for Guantanamo Bay in southeast Cuba.
Right now, it looks like it's going to maintain its Category 4 status. Winds might not be as strong. Right now, maximum sustained winds are at about 140 miles per hour, so those may go down to about 130. But it's still a major hurricane, and that's a big problem for folks, especially on the eastern side of Cuba.
Non-essential personnel have evacuated. That's about 700 family members flown out this weekend. Thousands of military members remain scrambling to prepare for the worst.
Well, he said that they were pretty much only prepared to handle up to a Category 2 storm.
Her husband described a chaotic weekend of attempting to board up windows and prepare bunkers.
I don't know if they're necessarily set up to withstand a storm, but they are set up to withstand war.
A different kind of fight is coming to Guantanamo Bay, and all some Colorado families can do is watch it play out from back home.
Once the storm hits, they're probably going to lose power. They're probably going to lose all connection. So pretty darn nervous. Hoping for the best with him.
For Next, I'm Ryan Hare.
They promised to protect and serve. And then there's what one officer offered a traveler at the airport. What do you think the chances are that Iran cheats on the nuclear deal?
Very high.
Yet Senator Michael Bennet says he has no regrets about the deal that made him an Election Day target. And a Next viewer spots something we're not sure we can show you on TV. We just showed it? All right, great. We'll show it again. with sports guy Drew Soicher. As our old friend Ward Lucas used to say, big day in sports, Drew.
Yeah, he said that every day, and it really wasn't. This in particular is a pretty big day.
It is. Walt Weiss is out as the skipper of the Rockies.
He is, and that drives me crazy because I think Walt's a good man who always had a bad rap. Everybody always said, oh, the Rockies hired a high school coach to be their manager, and that's just not true. Walt Weiss was a terrific player with a long career. He learned the game under two of the greatest managers of all time, Tony La Russa and Bobby Cox. He was a longtime consultant and assistant for the Rockies, and then because he was available and because he's a great father, not good, but great father, he volunteered as a coach for his kids' high school team.
Gotcha.
He wasn't a high school coach. And the fact that he's leaving now, I respect Walt a great deal for this, and here's why. He said that he would never, ever, under any circumstances, wanted to work someplace where he wasn't wanted. And the instant he felt he wasn't wanted, he would leave. And that happened today.
Respect anybody who does that, no matter where they work.
I love it.
All right. The Denver Broncos, the QB controversy.
Yes.
Is this a QB controversy for Coach Kubiak?
It's not a controversy for anybody yet. It is now a QB conundrum.
Okay.
And if and only if Paxton Lynch plays great against Atlanta, we're assuming he's going to start this week, and then we'll probably play again 4 days later on a short turnaround on a Thursday night at San Diego. If Paxton Lynch tears it up those 2 nights, then we have a quarterback controversy.
All right, very good. No controversy. Everybody in Boulder's psyched because the CU Buffs football team nationally ranked for the first time since 2005, which is sad, but it's happy. Yeah. Where do you place this?
Well, it's great because they need to start making steps, and this is a great step. There are some people who are totally taking this to the next level, wondering who they have to beat in order to make it to the college football's Final Four playoff here. Hey, if they could just have had a winning season in a decade. They're 4-1 now. They'd have to totally fall apart to not have a winning season. If they can take that step this year, have a winning season, maybe stay in the 20s in the rankings, that would be great and something to really build for in the future.
Just like you said to me, our first newscast together, baby steps. Baby steps. Yep.
Big day in sports, Kyle.
Yeah, big day in sports with Drew Soicher.
Windy and warm today. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Summer-like temperatures in the 80s, but the winds are starting to decrease. That front's already moving from the northwest toward the southeast, and they'll be shifting from the southwest to the northwest. That means a calmer overnight period for you. Our high at 81. We'll see highs much cooler tomorrow in the mid-60s with the approach of a second stronger front on Wednesday. Rain and snow will stay in the high country for tomorrow, but some of that cooler wet weather may be headed to Denver Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Yes, it'll be cooler tomorrow, but at least we won't have the nasty wind. Threat for severe weather increasing outside our state's border, and there are winter weather and travel advisories posted in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. In Denver for tonight, partly cloudy, windy now, but the winds continue to decrease. We'll drop into the lower 40s. Tomorrow we have sunshine, temperatures in the mid-60s in the afternoon. A similar scenario we'll see on Wednesday. Wednesday night, a 20% chance of showers with enough cold air. Some of that rain may briefly mix with snow Thursday morning. Thursday, our coldest day. High 52, low 32. In the high country, a beautiful fall scene. And coming up tonight on 9 News at 9 and 10, another update on dangerous Hurricane Matthew.
On this sunny day in Colorado, we spied some shade being thrown down in Pueblo. Our hunt for interesting political signs this season has mostly turned up Trump, but Clinton supporters covered Pueblo's Union Depot for Trump's visit to that city. Nope to the dope, the big sign says. Another smaller one down below says, Mexicans were here before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. Mexicans helped build this city, state, and nation. But what's that now coming up in the rearview mirror? Why, it's a Trump truck. Yep, hauling a load of you-know-what, or perhaps hauling a ton of American exceptionalism, depending on your perspective. Grace and Lila Wensman spotted this in a cornfield out by Sterling on County Road 34. Please do keep the unique political signs coming our way. In this swing state of ours, you can get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. We pick up our conversation today with Democratic U.S. Senator Michael Bennet with the single biggest issue that his Republican rivals have seized on, the nuclear deal with Iran, the one that offers concessions to that country in return for the monitoring of Iranian nukes and related materials. What do you think the chances are that Iran cheats on the nuclear deal?
Very high.
And you're confident that the systems are in place that it could be caught?
I think it would be caught.
As you look back on that deal, any regrets?
None. if you look at where we were when I voted on that deal, Iran had 10 bombs worth of enriched uranium, and by everybody's estimates, they were within 2 or 3 months of breaking out to a nuclear bomb. Because of that deal, Iran no longer has the enriched uranium necessary to build one bomb.
You decided to support Hillary Clinton with your vote as a superdelegate. Colorado Democrats asked you to support Bernie Sanders. You've explained before why you decided to support Hillary Clinton. I don't know that I have a firm understanding, though, of why you weren't there at the Democratic National Convention when it was time to actually put your vote on the record. You were the one person absent.
I don't know who else was absent or not there. I had 1.5 days that I felt that I could spend at the convention. I wanted to spend the rest of the time here in Colorado, and I'm glad that I did.
So you were trying to duck the heat of that moment?
Not at all. Nobody has suggested that.
Democrats have been making the argument against Donald Trump that goes beyond politics, goes beyond ideology. The idea that he is, one, unfit for the office, and two, that he would be a danger if elected. Do you believe those things about your opponent, Darrell Glenn, that he's either unfit or would be dangerous?
No, I am grateful for his service to the country. I do think that his position that he's taken, that he can't work with any elected Democrats, that he's running against Democrats, he's running against evil, and that the problem with Washington, as he said over and over again during his primary debate, is that the Republicans in Washington have been too collaborative. I think that would be an enormously unhelpful approach and not a constructive approach with respect to Colorado, which is a third Democratic, a third Republican, and a third independent. You need to work with everybody to represent the state, and I think over the last 7 years I've demonstrated not just a willingness to do that, but an enthusiasm about doing that. That puts us in a diametrically different approach.
Senator Bennett, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
You can see my full interview with Senator Bennett, as well as my interview with his challenger, Darrell Glenn. They're in the next section of 9news.com. Convincing guys to set down their beers and talk about their prostates. A dinner-time friendly conversation's coming up. And a treat for next most faithful viewer. Question: would you pull out your credit card and buy an airline ticket for a total stranger? A Denver police community resource officer answered yes in an instant. Officer Henry Jones works at DIA. Last Friday, he heard about a soldier trying to get to her grandfather's funeral. Apparently, she bought a ticket from a third-party site, and it wasn't coming up as valid. Officer Jones says they tried to work with American Airlines, but the airline said it couldn't help. So he says the only right thing to do was to personally pay $556 for that ticket.
I made a quick decision, pulled out my credit card and charged it right there. And the lady looked at me, the ticket agent looked at me kind of surprised. She says, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I said, "I have no choice. We got to get her to see her grandfather for the funeral." And she started crying. I had a little bit of an eyeball sweat.
Yeah, that pesky eyeball sweat, you know, sneaks up on you at Dusty Airport. Jones grew up in an Army family. He says that his father always taught him to take care of their own. We are going to spend a good amount of time talking about beer this week in Denver. The Great American Beer Festival is not exactly a 9 health fair, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean it does not include an effort to get men to take their health seriously. The Brewers Health Initiative is using GABF to communicate in what they call the universal language of beer, setting up locations for prostate screenings Wednesday through Saturday. It's the blood test prostate screening, guys. Nobody's snapping on a glove. You can find details in this article on 9news.com. Back in just a moment. Next, viewers are in the mood for fall, and that means the return of Pumpkin Man once more in Leadville. A mechanic mooning passing passengers, reminding them that fall is indeed here. He is festive day or night. No matter when you pass him, you're going to get a show. It's a reason to smile, no matter what else is in the news today. You know, we love Dogs on Next, and apparently dogs love us back, at least one of them. That's Hugo. Hugo's friend Leah sent us this picture. She says Hugo has a pretty short attention span, so getting him to sit through an entire commercial is a win. And Hugo will keep watching us because Hugo is not concerned about issues of politics and political bias. Your feedback now. First, from a viewer who thinks we gave too much time to Donald Trump tonight. Suzanne Hetz, why are you donating minutes of airtime to him? Assume you'll be doing the same thing for Hillary. And then a viewer who says we gave too little time to Trump. Robin Venata, if Hillary was speaking in Colorado, you aired her entire speech. Yeah, perhaps we'll see next time.